it going?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Don't worry, I'm probably a little bit more nervous than you are, but I'm sure you're going to be amazing.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to thank you for sitting down with us today.
My pleasure.
For the people in Stratford here that drive past this building every day, maybe that don't fully understand what happens inside, I'm just going to jump right in. Would you describe what the Emily Murphy Center is in your own words?
Yeah. So Emily Murphy Center is a second stage housing facility for women and children who are escaping violence. We've been around for about 37 years now. We opened in 1989. We house 20 families in this building, and we support another, I don't know, it depends, between 30 and 40 folks in the community on an outreach basis, folks who aren't ready to leave the situation they're in, or folks who don't want to live in congregate living, whatever that looks like. So second stage housing is what happens after or instead of shelter. We provide security, programming, support, system navigation, tangible items, things like food and hygiene supplies, that sort of thing. And basically what we are is an organization that helps women get their feet back on the ground after they've experienced the worst stuff in their lives.
So how long have you been part of this organization?
I'm in my 21st year as ED.
ED.
I'm sorry. Yes, I just throw this stuff around. It's, executive director.
Executive director,
Right.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be 21 years in September. And I can't believe it. The time has gone so fast.
So can you walk us through what a real day actually looks like for you?
No, I cannot.
Okay.
No, there's no 2 days the same. I think that's one of the reasons I've been here for 21 years.
So it's interesting.
It is interesting. Every single day is something different. There are the mundane tasks that you have to do, anybody has to do running an organization. But because we are people-centered, people don't come in schedules or timing or on any sort of clock other than their own. So every day is different, and that's a good thing.
So what then pulled you into this kind of work initially?
That's a great question. I have been working alongside women who are struggling, I think, my entire career. And even before I was doing this particular position, I volunteered at the sexual assault center. I was on the board of directors there. I did programming specifically for women. I wrote and delivered programs for young women. So I think my entire career has been focused on helping women realize their best selves.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So this work in general, your whole career, it puts you face to face with some of the hardest moments in people's lives every single day. How do you carry that over the long haul without it breaking you?
You know what? I think I could be really flip about that, but there has been a number of situations over 21 years where it actually took me aback, and I had to remember who I was and why I was doing what I'm doing. So it's not all sunshine and roses, I'll tell you that. And you do hear some really heavy stuff. But you have to learn how to get rid of some of that, not take it home. And if you do take it home, then make sure it's for a limited amount of time. You got to take care of yourself and do the things that you love. For me, that's being in my garden or reading a book or texting friends or being on my motorcycle. So motorcycle. That's my one of my biggest forms of stress relief.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So, and you mentioned there that you have a good support structure. So
I do.
Not only your good support structure for everybody else, but you have one that you rely on too.
And you have to.
That's amazing.
Yeah, everybody needs that connection, right?
Yeah. So has the nature of what you're seeing at EMC changed over the years? Are there needs different now than when you first started?
Yeah, it sure has. And they're kind of subtle changes. We're seeing a lot of folks now with more complex needs. So it's not only about violence, right? It's about homelessness, it's about poverty, it's about childcare, it's about systems navigation and our legal system and all of those things that are entwined when a woman decides to end an abusive relationship. And so those things over the course of history now have become more convoluted and more intense. So systems navigation, I think, is one of the biggest things that has changed for us and for me over the years. And you're always learning, which again is a good thing. What else? I hate to say it out loud because I've been doing this work for so long, but we're seeing a lot more things like stalking and cybercrime as far as violence against women goes. So people are very comfortable hiding behind the safety of a monitor and doing atrocious things.
Wow.
And so that's hard to navigate. What else has changed? Just the women themselves have changed. Like, I'm not getting any older, but they're all very young. And it's kind of heartbreaking to know that we're seeing more young people who are walking in these doors saying, my relationship has hurt me. And these are 15, 16, 17-year-old girls who thankfully know where to reach out and get help early. That's fabulous because we're talking about it more. But the other side of that is they're so freaking young.
Oh.
And it's heartbreaking.
It's interesting. You touched on a couple points I actually want to break into a little bit more. And we'll kind of go into it a little bit by little bit here. Particularly when you were speaking on homelessness. And it is true, like Stratford has a very particular identity. I mean, it's known for the festival, tourism, beautiful streets. Do you think that image makes it harder for people to accept the seriousness of issues like homelessness and domestic violence that exists in here in Stratford?
Yeah, people don't want to believe that stuff that affects the entire country affects our own backyard. And we know it kind of academically. Yeah, this is happening, but it's not happening to anybody I know. Well, that's just not true. Chances are you know more than one person who has been affected by violence. You know more than one person who is precariously housed. So they're one paycheck away from losing housing, or have to decide between if they're going to buy diapers or they're going to buy milk this week because the cost of living is so intense. So while we don't want to necessarily acknowledge that these problems exist in Stratford, Ontario, they do. But there's a lot of great people out there helping as well.
So like you were saying, we're seeing more visible homelessness in Stratford. I've noticed some encampments, people living rough. Yeah. There's a real conversation happening in this community about what to do about it. What do you wish people understood about how someone ends up in that situation? You were saying just living a paycheck away. Like, there's sometimes a reaction of these people should go somewhere else. This isn't a Stratford problem. What's your response to that?
We have to take care of our own, no matter what that looks like. My opinion is, if they're here and they're on our streets, no matter if they started out here or not, they need help. And that help isn't necessarily what people are comfortable with. I'm not sure how to explain that better. We have this idea that if we throw money at a problem, it'll go away. Or if we take the people who are affected by these issues away, the problem goes away. That's just not true. We need real concrete solutions that are individualized for anybody who's experiencing being unhoused or food insecurity or whatever. Because what works for this person doesn't necessarily work for that person. And I think our systems need to be more aware of that the people are unhoused or precariously housed sometimes because they want to be, because living in four walls is impossible. Sometimes it's because there's no other safe place for them to be. And that sounds bizarre, but living at home is dangerous. Living with friends is dangerous, or it puts the friends in danger. So they would rather be on the street and just be responsible for themselves than to put anybody else in danger. So there's as many people as there are who are unhoused. There are that many reasons as to why they are unhoused. And so we can't just make the assumption that obviously they're addicted, or obviously they have some mental health concerns, or obviously they just they don't have enough motivation. It's just not true. I'll tell you, if the choice is between, having to pay $600 or $700 or more a month for childcare, or taking a minimum wage below poverty level job, that's what you're going to do. And if schooling wasn't a possibility in growing up, you don't have those skills to find something better, or to move on better, or you don't know how to. So yeah, I never place the blame on the people who are struggling. It's not them.
So then, I guess that leads into my next question, and you might actually enjoy answering this one. What do people most commonly get wrong about the individuals you support? What's the assumption that frustrates you the most?
That these women are not capable of caring for themselves. That makes me crazy. These women are capable, strong, well-rounded individuals who are coming here who have had terrible things perpetrated on them. They are not responsible for the violence that's happened to them. And it's not just, it's not people who live below the poverty line that are here. It's people from all economic status, all demographics. Violence happens across barriers and across borders.
You kind of hinted on this a little bit before, but how interconnected now are homelessness, food insecurity, domestic violence in your experience? Are these now really three separate issues, or are they usually the same story told three different ways now?
Yeah, it's, I think there's a combination of those things. Sometimes it's a one-off, and, a violence doesn't happen again. That's rare. But women don't just come in here because somebody has hurt them. They come in here because somebody has hurt them, and they've taken control of their finances, and they're at risk from being assaulted, and they're trying to care for their kids, or their kids are being threatened. There are so many intertwining factors to violence, and to addiction, and to being unhoused. Pardon me, sorry.
Okay.
So you can't stereotype. You can't assume that the women that are here need to be saved, quote unquote. They do not. They are saving themselves. We are just facilitating that.
So this is an empowerment facility.
It absolutely is. We can't do anything for women. We cannot. But if somebody says, I need some help with this, that's where we step in, right? We walk alongside, not for.
So, okay. So do you feel Stratford has made meaningful progress on these issues, or do you think there's still room to grow as a community?
Yes to both those things. I think we have done some changing and some shifting on how we do business in Stratford, and how social service agencies interact, and the collaborations that happen across the board. That's all wonderful. And you know what? Honestly, it's something that's happened at the grassroots level for my entire career, because we're left with no choice. We have to work together to solve problems. Nobody operates in a silo. So if, for instance, if I need to get a family help with some food support, that's not what we do, really. I can give you a bag full of groceries, but ongoing support, that's not what we do. But I know I can reach out to, say, the local community food center and say, this family, pardon me, needs some help, and can we give it to them? And so we join forces. What I'd love to see is folks who are at the municipal level, or the provincial level, or the federal level, who are making these decisions, work in collaboration. They ask us to. Those of us who are transfer payment funded, which means funded through the government, we're asked to collaborate and do more with less every single day. I'd love to see our funders do that too, and join forces to solve problems sort of at a top-down way. Things would be different if I ruled the world.
I love that. I'm sure they'd be a lot brighter, that's for sure. Okay, so you're talking top down. Let's look at down up a little bit.
Sure.
How can the community help? Like, a lot of people think about, you're talking food donations and you help out there. So a lot of people think about food donations around the holidays. What does meaningful, sustained community support actually look like for EMC throughout the rest of the year?
I have to tell you that Stratford and Perth County are, as a whole, very, very generous. I can make a post on Facebook saying that I need a microwave, and by 3 o'clock this afternoon, I'll have 3 microwaves in my door.
Wow.
So that's great, and I can't tell you enough how much we appreciate that sort of kind of grassroots support. However, you can talk to anyone who is in a leadership role in any of the social services here or anywhere else, and will tell you that sustained funding is something that we really look towards. So if folks want to help, pay attention to who you're voting for.
So I'm just going to interrupt you briefly. For people who don't know, what does sustained funding mean? What does that look like?
Well, for instance, this organization from one of our funders has not received a increase in our salary line for 7 years, and I understand where that comes from. However, the people that are doing this work are equally as valid as the people who are making the decisions on where the money goes. So sustained funding would be acknowledging the cost of living, making sure that those increases are built into funding platforms and contracts. It would make sure that the work that women are predominantly done by women, such as the work that I do, is equally compensated as the work that's done by men. Traditionally, that sort of sustained funding is what I'm talking about, so that I don't have to, and I use I generically, meaning our center, have to spend so much of our time fundraising.
Okay.
In order to make ends meet, to make sure that the programs are being provided in effective ways, that women have what they need, and all of those things that come with sort of a generic budget. It's more convoluted than that.
There's a lot of red tape involved.
Yeah,
okay.
There is. So when folks are thinking about how to give back to the community, remember that the people that need us the most don't pay for our service.
Okay.
Right.
Which actually is leading. You're a good bridge for all my questions. I'm loving that. So if someone is watching this and genuinely wants to help, doesn't know where to start, what's the single most useful thing they could do, let's say tomorrow morning?
Cash dollars.
Cash dollars.
I'm not going to beat around the bush. Cash dollars that we can spend really responsibly. All of our records are available on CRA website, by the way, so you can see if we're spending our money responsibly. If you're a donor, and you can with most social service agencies or not-for-profits. However, those dollars then can be put to direct services for women and children escaping violence. And so if I have to buy, diapers for a woman, that's what I use. And that's
a hole in the roof.
That's right. So it goes many different ways and in many different places to where it's needed most. So those donation dollars are vital.
And you get a tax receipt from the EMC.
And you get a tax receipt. Absolutely, you do. For services or gifts in kind, you also get a tax receipt. So if you have, a good used bed, and you think that somebody may need a bed because they're escaping their home, then give me a call. Chances are I'll take it.
Okay.
That sort of thing. And I would be remiss if I didn't say at this point that we are in the midst of a capital campaign. Because
you're getting to my questions before I end, but that's awesome.
I'm sorry.
No, okay. I'll get to that. I'll get to that. You're putting the cart before the horse there, my love.
I'm so excited.
So beyond donations and not fundraising efforts, we're going to get there. I have a whole section planned for you.
All right.
Beyond donations, what does EMC actually need from the community that people may not think of? Like you mentioned, like housing, like housewares and things like that.
Yeah. Non-perishable food items, winter coats in the wintertime,
Like baby clothes,
Yep.
that kind of stuff?
Grocery gift cards are huge.
Okay.
You don't know what anybody else likes, but if you give us a grocery gift card, we can get exactly what a family's asking for.
Okay.
And do that responsibly. So, not junk food and pop, but fresh food, milk, bread, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Those are invaluable. Or to Canadian Tire or any of the other place, Shoppers Drug Mart. Folks need all the things.
I heard you had a Amazon wish list.
We do.
Too.
At Christmas time, we have an Amazon wish list. And how that works is that we give families the opportunity to say, okay, if you could choose anything off of Amazon, what would it be? What does your family need the most? What does your 7-year-old son want for Christmas? And they give us a list. We find them on Amazon. We put links up, and people in the community as far away as Europe will go on that list, and the items are sent directly to us.
Even toys?
Even toys.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah. So Christmas time is like the poor delivery people. Our front door is like piled with, and it's fantastic.
The kids must light up.
It's incredible.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so, and just to save people the effort and the trip, are there things that commonly get let me try that again. Are there things people commonly try to donate that EMC just actually can't use?
Yeah, we don't take used clothing anymore.
Okay.
Only because we don't have a large enough sorting facility. We can't wash them all, keep them stored. And so we ask that folks divert those clothing donations to the Goodwill, who we formed a partnership with. And in turn, they get the donations, but we get what they call community bucks. And they're like coupons, vouchers for our clients to go shopping.
Oh, so they get a shopping spree out of the deal. Not bad. That works out, and you don't have to warehouse it or any of that. That's perfect.
And I think the other thing that we don't just take is furniture. You have to call ahead because, again, we don't have any storage space.
Okay.
So unless we have a family that can use it right away, we can't really take it.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And the last thing that people call often about that we can't help out with is we don't have a truck to go pick things up. So items have to be dropped off to us.
Oh, well, that's fair.
Yes, but it can be problematic sometimes for donors who don't drive or whatever. And we do try to accommodate them as best we can, but
I'll put my hat in the ring. I have a truck with a trailer and a hitch. So
there you go.
If you need me, give me a call.
Problem solved.
And now here's your chance to jump in the ring here. Any upcoming events, fundraisers that the community should know about? Because I'll put everything on the website or on my page and with this video so everybody can keep track of everything.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'm very excited about this project. So we have decided to increase our capacity here at EMC because we always carry a wait list. We always have folks who are waiting to get in for a safe and affordable place to live. And so to try to counteract that, we have decided to install 5 tiny homes in our wonderful backyard.
Like a little itty bitty tiny home?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love those.
These are converted shipping containers. And actually, they're not as tiny as you think. They're 40 feet long. Only 10 feet across, but 40 feet long.
So how many bedrooms could you get in that?
So we have 4 one-bedroom, and we'll have 1 double. So it's actually 6 tiny homes that we're getting, but one's combined to make just one.
Okay.
And it could house a woman with 1 child or a woman with 2 or 3 children, if we can do some sharing. And they are completely self-contained. They've got heat pumps in them, so there's air conditioning and heat. They have washer and dryer. They have full bathroom. They have some built-in furniture, like the bed and the kitchen table is built in, almost like an RV setup. Cool. Right? They are just fantastic. And the coolest part of the whole thing is the tiny homes themselves have been gifted to us.
No way.
Yes. So there was a project that happened with an organization called Now Homes out of Cambridge. And they formed a partnership with the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Labor to take disenfranchised youth. So kids who are 17 to 24 who are not successful in school, have kind of lost some direction. Put them in an 8-week course to teach them a little bit about electrics, plumbing, welding, forklift operation, all of those things, and in the meantime build these homes. So the kids are walking out with an education,
A good trade.
and a trade,
Yeah.
and possibly a trade ticket depending on what they're doing. So a forklift ticket or whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then
Or license, I think.
yeah, we get these beautiful homes.
Wow.
So incredible. So what we're raising money for with these is the infrastructure. So getting sewer and water and electric and security and everything out into the backyard to support the tiny homes. And that's what we're raising money for right now. And
What's your project called again?
it's called Tiny Homes Big Impact.
Okay, we'll make sure we give that a hashtag for sure.
Thank you so much.
Now, just gonna pause for a little moment because we're gonna kind of change the gears a bit. We're gonna move into something a little heavier now, specifically around domestic violence. So if anybody watching needs a moment, take it, because this is your slight, minor, soft trigger warning. We'll be right here, so just breathe. And I'm gonna get a little personal here for a second, because I grew up in a violent household, and my mom was in that situation for decades. And the question I could never answer as a kid, and one that maybe you could shed some light on for me, and one that stayed with me for a long, long time, was why don't they just leave the situation? Like why didn't she just leave?
Yeah.
For decades? And that's an answer I can never get. I mean, I've come to terms with my history, but there's a lot of people out there that when it comes to domestic violence that have never been in the situation or who have been in the situation, that's the first question that everybody answers.
It really is.
Why don't you just leave?
Yeah. And the answer to that question is as varied as there are women who have been abused. So every woman stays for a different reason. It could be because of kids. It could be because she genuinely loves her partner. Doesn't maybe like what he does, but certainly loves him. And I'm being fairly stereotypical when I say a woman is a victim and the man is a perpetrator, because 98% of the time that's the case. So those are the pronouns that I use, or the words that I use. However, we know that violence happens to men too. However, women will say they stayed because they didn't have the financial resources to leave. So if they've been in a relationship for 10 years and he's controlled every paycheck that she's brought home and has complete control over the bank accounts, what's she going to do? She may not have a car. She may not have any supports in the community who can help her move. She may have pets who he's threatened to kill if she leaves. He may have threatened to kill the kids. He may have threatened to go after a family member. That happens quite frequently. She may have a financial stake in the marriage and fears that will disappear if she leaves.
Oh, like a house or something?
Right.
Okay.
She could have her own issues around violence. And if she's grown up in a household that was violent, then she sort of inherently believes that she deserves it. And this is what normal looks like.
Wow.
So there are so many reasons why women stay. I think a better question, though, and one that I always throw back at people who ask me that question, is why does he abuse?
Yeah. Well, trust me, I asked that question about my father many times too.
Right.
You know?
And I think that's where the emphasis has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be on the person that's doing the violence as opposed to the woman who's receiving it. So yes, does she have free will? Sure she does, in a manner of speaking. But why do we put the onus on her to leave and change her life? And it's something to think about. Yeah,
that's an amazing perspective, actually. That's really good. Okay, so going along with these a little bit more sensitive topics, what would be some of the early signs that a relationship has become dangerous? Like signs people may want to pay close attention to, they might dismiss or explain away?
Yep, absolutely. Violent behavior isn't something that just happens overnight unless there's been a brain injury or a systemic breakdown biologically. So violence is cumulative. It grows over time. And so it may start with controlling behavior, telling a person where they can go and where they can't go, who they can talk to, who they can't talk to, checking phones, checking computers. that sort of controlling behavior. It could be in early dating relationships, it could be something as innocuous as sitting down for dinner and him choosing what you're going to order. That's controlling behavior. Or walking out for a date and your date says to you, "You're not going to wear that, are you?" That's controlling behavior. So that would get the hair up on the back of my neck.
Flags.
Yeah.
Okay.
Other red flags would be inability to hold a job, inability to at least be responsible with drug or alcohol use. It could be their own history. So if you're in a new relationship and you're learning about what their family look like, that could be a warning cycle, because we know that violence is cyclical. It doesn't happen in a vacuum. Kids learn it. So that might be a red flag. I'm not saying that everybody that's come out of a violent household is going to be violent.
No, pick me.
But I am saying that it does give you a predilection towards violence, for sure. Just anything that restricts your freedom or your comfortability is a red flag. If it doesn't feel good, get out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, now from the outside looking in, if someone suspects a friend or family member is in an abusive situation, what is the right way to approach it? And what are the things well-meaning people do that can actually make the situation more dangerous?
Yeah.
I think that's a really important question.
It's a really important question. And a lot of times people will say, well, if you're in trouble, come stay with me. Comes from the best of intentions. And sometimes works out really well. Sometimes not so much, because now you're not only putting them in danger, but also yourself and your family. So if somebody goes off the rails because their partner has left and they, she's gone to her best friend's house, I know that for sure. Where's the first place he's going to go? He's going to go to that house, and it's not going to be pretty. So you might want to think about supporting your friend through making a call to a place like EMC or Optimism Place, which is our local shelter, or talking to a doctor, or just calling us and saying, my friend is experiencing this, how can I help? And that help might be, you don't have to ask them to come and stay with you, but you can say, let me help you get important documents together. If you want to keep a suitcase at my house, do that. If you want me to pick up the kids from school while you're, going and changing your address or whatever, those kinds of really meaningful, tangible supports are critical. That's what women need. And they need to have access to the professionals that can help them.
So if someone is in a dangerous situation right now,
Yep.
and they're watching this,
Yep.
what is the first safe step they can take? And how does someone reach EMC if they need to? Now, before you answer that, I'm going to post all contact info with the video.
Yep.
All emergency, anything you say factually right now is going to be posted with this, so it's going to be for reference.
Great. So call the police, call victim services, or if you call the police, they'll call victim services for you. Call Optimism Place, call the Emily Murphy Center, or show up at our doors and let us help you.
I know that address, 67 Barron Street.
67 Barron Street. Unfortunately, we are not 24 hours a day, though. So folks need to remember that we're here during office hours in the day, Monday to Friday. However, you can email us. So if you're experiencing something on a Saturday night, go to our Facebook page, send us a private message, and we'll get on it first thing in the morning Monday. The shelter, however, is 24 hours a day. So if it's 2 o'clock in the morning and you have to get out of that house, call the shelter.
And that's Optimism Place?
That's Optimism Place,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Now, what does the process actually look like when someone reaches out to EMC for the first time? What should they expect?
Sure. So, excuse me. So if the person is reaching out to EMC because they want just some support, that can happen almost instantaneously, either while they're on the phone or making an appointment to come in and see one of our counselors. There's no wait time for that. It can happen really, really quickly. If somebody's looking for second stage housing, Like I mentioned before, we do carry a wait list. So we'll help you fill out the application, or you can go right down to the City of Stratford Housing Division and fill out the application there. You want to mention that EMC is your preferred choice. You may qualify for something that's called special priority, which means you're at high risk of lethality or being hurt again.
Just for the record, and I only do this because I don't understand lethality.
Somebody's going to kill you.
Oh, okay. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, so it's derived from the word lethal.
Got you.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, always ask questions like that. Always.
Yeah, you learn something new every day.
Yeah.
If you don't know,
it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So yeah, if your risk is higher than most, then we can help you fill out an application for special priority, which bumps you to the top of the wait list.
Okay.
Having said that, 99% of the women that are on our wait list have special priority. So even though you get bumped on the general wait list, there's still a wait list.
Gotcha.
So you will have to wait a little bit, but while you're waiting for housing here, then we will also offer you outreach supports. So we'll meet you where you're at. We'll help you do safety planning. We'll help you find care for your children, help you find a lawyer. All of those things can happen even while you're waiting to come into housing here.
Perfect. Well, at least there's support.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to go on the other side of the coin a little bit. Domestic violence, you mentioned, does happen against men. Mm-hmm. It is something that's rarely talked about. Is there support available for men in Stratford who are experiencing this? And do you think men face additional barriers asking for help?
They absolutely do. Men have been socialized, in North American society anyway, to not express fear or hurt, or to admit if somebody is hurting them. They're socialized to tough it out and don't cry and be a man and walk it off, Sal. All of those things.
Boy, that sounds great.
All of those things just lead to this feeling for a man, and I'm not a man, but I've spoken to a lot of them, of not being able, nowhere to turn. They can't turn to their friends because guys don't talk about that shit. They don't want to turn to their doctor or other professionals in their lives because then you have to admit that somebody's hurt you, and you're less of a man, quote unquote. All of that is hokey. It's not true. We need to tell our boys that you get hurt, you can cry. You get hurt, you can ask for help. And there are some folks, I would say not probably enough services for men, but the first one that comes to mind is the Caring Dads program, which is for men who are at high risk of being abusive to kids. And usually those two things are connected, abuse for women and abuse to kids. And so we offer an intensive 17-week program for men who want to break that cycle. So there's that. The other thing is Family Services offers abuse counseling for men. Absolutely.
Where they're on the receiving end?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yep. Both, actually.
Oh, okay.
Both sides of that coin.
Okay,
yep.
Cool.
And I believe, and I'm sorry I can't tell you the specifics, but Optimism Place is also starting to look at providing some services for men. The problem is we are funded specifically for women. Nothing wrong with that. However, we have to be very careful how we diversify our time and our resources if we're then helping men. My opinion, and I have a lot of them.
Nothing wrong with that. It's being a strong, independent woman.
My opinion is that you can't solve the issue of violence against women without
solving the issue of men being violent.
Men being violent, right. And I would say better than 90% of the time, if a man is violent, he has also experienced violence. Because it is a learned behavior sometimes. So, not all the time, but sometimes. Mm-hmm. So we need to kind of get over ourselves when it comes to this division of who can be hurt and who can't in our world, and not only in Stratford, but in our world. We need to get over the fact that people can be awful to one another, and it's people-based and it's not gender-based necessarily. Having said that, I also add that primarily victims are women.
So we need to, just recapping what you said, making sure I understand, not to stop helping the victims, but start focusing more on the perpetrators.
That's right. You know, it's mostly comes down to money. So we tend to, and when I say we, I mean our governments, tend to focus funding based on stats.
Okay.
Makes sense. You put the money where it will have the most impact. And right now, the stats tell us that it's primarily women that need safe housing, supported systems, anti-violence work. But there's still a portion of the population who are either male or non-female identifying who need support. And we can't exclude that. But the funding for those programs are few and far between. There is a fabulous program in London, Ontario, and it is called Changing Ways. And the entire organization is dedicated to men who A, have experienced violence, and B, are violent themselves. And they have some incredible programs. So I often make referrals there. If folks have transportation, they can get themselves to London. But most CMHA here in Stratford will do some mental health counseling with men who are very abusive. But again, it's kind of hit or miss, unfortunately.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so other than supports in Stratford beyond EMC, like what else that you haven't mentioned? You mentioned Optimism Place, Caring Dads, EMC. Is there any other supports that people should be aware about that they just don't know?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them, and I could go on and on and on, but
So there are more.
oh, sure. There are.
Because I've been here like 20 years and I know of maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah,
That's the point of NerdyGeek.
kind of a problem, right?
Yeah, that's the point of this whole thing. I know it's just a small channel and you're my second interview, but I'm trying to get the word out and I'm trying to get some connections going and get some awareness raised. Because
Absolutely.
I don't think people are aware that, yeah, we have a beautiful town, but we have some underlying issues. And
We do.
if we can start connecting the dots and working together, and maybe we can do something about it.
Well,
as a
that's
whole.
it. And those of us who are in the social services have been doing that forever, right? But
Well, I'm joining a little late, okay?
awesome. We're just happy to have you aboard.
All right.
What I love though is that there is now this resource available to everyone, and that's Canada 211. And here in Stratford, it is sort of not supervised, but it is led by the United Way Perth Huron.
Okay.
And so you can go and dial 211 on your phone. You can go on your computer and type in Canada 211 and type in what kind of issue you're having and what kind of service you're looking for, and it will find it for you.
Really?
Yes,
That's amazing.
it is.
Wow, we're going to have a really big blurb of information for this video. It's going to be awesome. Okay. I can't think of anything offhand. Is there anything else that you want to say professionally?
No, I other than I appreciate the opportunity to talk about this agency. Having been here for so long, it's pretty important to me, obviously. And we do, I'm going to blow up my own horn here. We do really good work.
Good.
We really do. Are we the right fit for absolutely everybody that comes in the door? No. But I don't think any program is. But we see a lot of women who leave us with their children who are freer and walk straighter and hold their head higher and feel safe for the first time in their lives.
That's amazing. Okay, that actually brings me to a follow-up question to that. How many are return people?
Not often.
That is what you should hang your hat on right there.
Well, we do try to get people set up on their own in the community.
I'm going to point it out. You're getting a little
I
teary
am
eyed.
getting a little teary.
And I love that. That's great footage.
After
Crying.
21 freaking years.
Crying. That's good. That's good content for me. No, that's amazing work, what you're doing.
Yes, it is. It is. It's hard work. It's beautiful work. But in the end, it's the women. We just provide the tools. They do the work. And if they want it, they take those tools and they move on and up. And that's the best feeling in the world. We don't get very many people who come back. Maybe one a year, sometimes two. And then a lot of times it's just for what they call a tune-up.
A tune-up.
Yeah, there's this problem in my life and it stems from violence in some way. I just need you to help me climb that hill. And we can do that. Yeah. So those are the success stories. If I never see a woman again after she leaves here, that's a success story for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, I want to step away from all that for a minute. Let you collect yourself. We're lucky I don't have this as a family channel, so swear away. So after everything you've just described, what gives you hope right now?
Well, it's Friday and the weekend's coming.
Okay, no, but in the long term, with what's going on in the world, what's going on professionally and everything, like what is the biggest thing that gives you hope?
Well, just like I just said, it's the women. It's the power that they each have, and some just need to rediscover. That gives me hope. And then, I hear from women who say, I went through the exact same thing, and this is where I'm at right now. So now I want to come and volunteer for you.
Oh.
That sort of spirit, that I took when I needed, and now I'm going to give back. I love that. That gives me hope. The fact that people like yourself are out there going, we need to highlight this stuff that is hidden. I love that. That gives me hope. The fact that we're in Canada and are not perhaps in the same situation as our neighbors to the south.
Or in a couple places around the world,
right.
Yes.
That gives me hope because, I can't think of a better place to live in this world, particularly in this kind of political climate.
I'm really proud to have a maple leaf stamped on my butt.
Right?
Made in Canada.
I've got one too, someplace on my body that I'm not telling you.
No thanks.
It is one of the things that I am most grateful for.
Yeah.
Is having been born in Canada.
Yeah, it's a good country.
Yeah, it really is.
It's got its problems.
Sure.
Every place does, but
Sure.
Overall,
yeah.
I'm pretty proud.
So that gives me hope.
That's cool.
And the fact that there are still people out there who care, who donate to our campaign or, drop off a bag of groceries at the end of the week. That gives me hope every single day. Like, how cool is that?
Still good people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am hopeful. Otherwise, I don't think I could do this job if I wasn't hopeful.
Has there been a moment when you're comfortable with sharing where you felt like your work actually changed something, where you could see it? Like, I'm not talking about the women's lives in particular. I'm talking about like structurally, architecturally, like maybe in the paperwork, the details. Maybe you got a politician and bent their arm or something, roughhoused them up a little bit in the back parking lot. I don't know. Got your way somehow.
I try to be nonviolent in everything that I do.
Okay, sorry. We're in the wrong place for that kind of talk. Check your audience, Josh. Check your audience.
That I'm particularly proud of. I think that when I do decide to retire, that I will have left this agency in a better place than it was. The previous ED to me was fantastic and did incredible things until she didn't and she wanted to move on with her life. So I am proud of where the agency is sitting right now. I think any agency that survives pandemics and political will that changes every 4 years, and just the changing landscape of being in the world, I think 37 years is something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And having been part of that for 21 of those years, pretty cool with that. That might be borderline insanity. I'm not sure. Have to get diagnosed. So I am particularly proud of that. I'm proud of I don't know. I don't know what I'm proud of.
I say you've got a lot to be proud for.
Well, yeah, hopefully I've made an impact, a positive impact in people's lives.
It sounds like you have.
I hope so.
So, what makes Stratford worth fighting for in your eyes?
What a great town this is. It is a town of dichotomy. I think it's a real division between the haves and the have-nots in Stratford. But I can't think of a place in the world that doesn't happen. And I think that we try to navigate it better than most, and shore up the differences between the folks who do have and the folks who do not have. There's also always people in this town willing to step forward and say, I have this much, can I give you some? And whether that be financial resources or any other kind of resource, even if it's emotional support. Can I give you some?
Yeah,
time. Yeah. So that's what makes Stratford worth fighting for. The fact that we live in an absolutely incredible, beautiful location, and that we're close to everything, and yet separate and apart from, and we have our own identity. I love that. I love that we are a cultured city. That I can go watch a baseball game and then go to a play. I love that. So I think there's a lot in Stratford worth fighting for, but mostly the people. That's worth fighting for me. Places come and go, things come and go, but people are resistant and resilient, and that's always worth fighting for.
So if you had a completely quiet evening to yourself in this town, no obligations, nowhere to be, what does that actually look like to you?
First of all, can you make that happen?
Sure. Your Friday night is clear. After this interview, you can go home.
Okay, great. That would look like getting on my bike and going for a ride. Sometimes that's a half an hour to clear my head, and sometimes that's 6.5 hours, and where the hell am I? How did I get here? Kind of a ride. It's spending time with...
I just heard a bike drive by.
Yeah, I was watching it.
They probably didn't hear it on the microphones, but a bike just drove by as she was saying, teasing her.
Saw my easily distracted by shiny things.
Yeah, and it was going, neener, neener, neener. You're not riding your bike.
So yeah, that's definitely up there. Going to the water, and sometimes just sitting at home or in my garden with a book and my dog and my partner, and just being in silence. I give a lot during the day, intentionally. I'm talking to people, I'm doing the things, I'm answering emails. So when I have time just to be on my own, I like to decompress. I don't talk much because I talk all day. I'm a terrible friend. I don't reach out by text or phone call often. Just because I value that time. Not that if you called me tomorrow and said, I need this, I'll be there for you. But given my druthers, I'm a bit of an introvert.
It's time to recharge.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So we're going to close, but before we wrap up, if you could speak directly to Stratford right now, not as the, what did you say, ED, Executive Director of EMC, but just as someone who lives in the community and understands what it needs, what would you want people to walk away knowing? Just like a summary of what we talked about
Yeah.
or anything.
I think that I'd love for people just to hang on to the idea that if they have something to give, time, energy, expertise, knowledge, money, 3 cans of soup, there are people that need that here. And it's important for them, for you to give. And I'll tell you, it feels fantastic. So find something that you're passionate about, whatever cause it is, whatever cause, and give back a little, because we all benefit from that, every single one of us.
That's good advice. And there's one more thing before we go. We're building a tradition. It's called Local Legends. Now, at the end of every conversation, we invite our guests to privately nominate the next person. Now, someone in Stratford who's quietly doing the kind of work that deserves to be seen, someone with integrity, compassion, and a genuine commitment to this community, but it's got to be without any recognition at all. They don't want it. That's the kind of key factor about it. So I'm going to get you to do it off camera, though, because we tried doing it on camera. It seemed a little awkward. But I'll get you to write their name down and their information, and there'll be a nomination for the next interview. Does that sound cool with you?
Sounds great.
Okay, so while I'm packing up, you can have a little think about it. And
Okay.
I just wanted to thank you for your time and this wonderful conversation. And this is really, really a good time. I really enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you. I enjoyed it too.
I'm sure everybody else will enjoy it too.
Thank you.
Thank you.